Hey there, welcome back to Tennille Talks. So let's talk about layaway. Now, layaway became popular during the Great Depression, but its use started to decline in the 1980s when credit cards started to become more common. Layaway allowed customers to purchase an item with a down payment. The customer would have to return again and again to pay the remaining installments while the store held the items for them. Once it was paid in full, the customer could take whatever items they were paying for over time home. That was the layaway process. Now, on a grand scale, considering our life collectively, if we can look at our life like layaway, every lifetime we come back, it's almost like we're paying a little more energetically in order to acquire a final existence. Now, the final thing that we are wanting to pay off and take home is consciousness. It's ascension. It's proximity to source. Every lifetime that we return, we are essentially trying to get closer and closer and closer to source, prime creator, the Most High, right? And so your life is a payment. It is a layaway payment towards a state of consciousness. Your life is a down payment. It's an installment. And you have lived many lives, which means you have a series of installments that you have already put down and paid for so that you can get this thing called consciousness, this thing called ascension. Now, in order to get the consciousness, in order to get the ascension, you got to realize something. It requires your essence. Well, what is your true essence? What is your true form? No one else will ever be you again. Nobody else will ever carry your energy again. So the fact that you're walking around on this little ghetto planet, right? Sometimes we just don't think about how great we are. I mean, we're so small. In many ways, we're so insignificant. But the fact that we're living, breathing, and we're alive and seeing this thing take place around us, it means that you are actually a big deal. Well, being very small at the same time. So here's the thing. Everybody on earth is not the same. No, we're not the same. We're not equal. We all have bodies, yes, but what's inside the body, the contents of what you carry is not the same. There are some souls here that are literally out of this world. Yes, they're walking on earth. They may have walked on earth many lifetimes, but previously, the contents of their being has come from other universes, other star systems, other galaxies. Everybody that's here is not really here. And what determines whether you are here or not is what is inside your vessel. Depending on the contents of your vessel and where they hailed from, that determines the power of what you carry. Now, this reading is for the stars, the star seeds, the freedom seekers. Now, to be a freedom seeker, it means that you carry a consciousness that no earthly prison can ever keep you bound to, right? Anything that you endure on earth, for you, it will only be temporary because something inside of you is cosmic. Something inside of you is closer to source. So you just know what you know. It's almost like you're on earth, but in many ways, you're kind of bigger than earth. And so if you've ever felt like I'm here, but I don't fit in, not because I can't find my space, but the space that I would need to fit into, it's not here yet. It hasn't been created. There's nothing big enough that I can really step into. That is the energy of the freedom seeker, of the star seed. Those are the people that came here to play, to explore, to wander, to adapt, to experiment. There are certain souls that came here to agitate the system, to break up the system. If you are a star seed, what you are carrying inside of your vessel is a little different because of who your ancestors were. I'm not talking about the ancestors that walked the earth generations ago. No, I'm talking about your ancestors that were out of this world, right? And so star seeds, you have ancestors that came from a universe that completed itself. And it completed itself by discovering that they themselves were prime creator. The moment you understand that you are source, you are the Most High in action, that is when you find your essence. Your essence is creativity. You have found your essence when you are creating. Now think about how hard it is to live a life of creativity in the matrix, right? Well, the freedom seekers are sent here to bust up the system, to break up the system. And the contents of your vessel have come with something from out of this world to make this happen. Now, I want you to imagine that you've been on Earth for quite a while and you're finally waking up to your cosmic or your galactic identity. Now, over time, your ancestors have kind of been giving you downloads about what it is you're supposed to be doing, what it is you're supposed to be creating. Listen, you are in your essence when you have something to love, something to do, and something to hope for. I'll say it again. You have found your essence. You are walking in your own creativity when you have found something to love, something to do, and something to hope for. Yesterday evening, I shared on the community board a video that I posted literally a year ago, but it was on another channel. And that channel, so during my isolation, I created 4 YouTube channels. Tennille Talks is the 5th channel that I created in the past 2.5 years. The first 4 channels I created, they were each a hobby. They were each something I loved. They were something I was interested in. And so the video I shared yesterday, that was my journey into literally the Kabbalah. There's no way I can touch tarot and not understand or read the Kabbalah. Like, I got to understand where this came from, where I started from. And the Kabbalah and the teachings of the Kabbalah, that was not the source of the components of tarot, right? But one of the ways that I dug into my ancestral inheritance, which I knew included tarot cards, was by learning about the origin, right? And so I created a channel where I learned about the names of God, so like that was me learning that portion. Well, then I was interested in calendars and times, because I understand that if we can restructure the way we see time, our life will change. Well, I learned about a Mayan calendar years ago in 2011 that just hacked my mind, and I understood that I was a kin, and so that was a system I used to connect to my cosmic identity. So I created that channel. I created a channel for teaching my boys, or I used to be a school teacher. So in my isolation, after one of the biggest attacks of my life, I created 4 YouTube channels, and each of them was an outlet. Each of them reflected something that I love to do. Every single day I woke up, I posted. Every single day I woke up, I posted on at least 3 of these channels for 9 months, every single day. Now, those channels weren't necessarily going to be my creative venture that would take me to the next level, but it was just the fact that I was tapping into the essence. I was creating something. And when I was in my isolation, I went back to the things that I was doing early in life. When I first woke up, it was almost like I resurrected an old version of me in order to find a new version of me. So I was able to find something that I had put down. Now imagine that you've been getting downloads about what you are here to do, what you are to create in this lifetime. So you find out that you're supposed to be this cook. And so you're getting exciting about cooking. You're finding recipes and you're like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and put my phone up on my kitchen counter. I'm going to put it on a little tripod and I'm going to cook. I'm going to prep and I'm going to talk about food. I'm going to tell jokes. Imagine that your ancestors over time have been dropping little nuggets about what it is you are supposed to tap into, the essence that you are here to do, right? Well, you walk to the grocery store, you buy everything you need, right? You get all the ingredients for your meal. And when you get home, you are going to cook the first meal that you are going to post on your YouTube channel. Now, this channel is connected to your inheritance. This is you tapping into your creativity. This is where you yourself recognize that you are source, the prime creator in action. I've always been sent here to create something. The moment the star seed recognizes that, you become a danger to the system. Because remember, you are a freedom seeker, which means you will always find your way free. There is no jail or prison or earth that can keep you for your lifetime. Any prison you've been in has always been temporary. You cannot keep a star. You cannot capture a star. You cannot imprison a star. Now, a lot of fools and a lot of morons are going to believe that they can. But if you're not even a star, how do you know how to stop a star? How do you know? How do you know? But that's their karmic journey. That's the lesson that they will have to learn and understand. You must learn that you are a star. Now, the moment in life when you recognize that you are this star, it typically will come after a tower moment. The tower moment that must happen is going to be one that destroys your old identity. It destroys your old self. Everything you thought, believed, did, tied yourself to, your history, your memories, everything will become vulnerable when you hit a specific tower moment in your life. And is that tower moment that is supposed to destroy your earthly identity. And when you rebuild, you are rebuilding in darkness. But the thing about a star is stars are in a dark sky. And so the darkness means that this is a rebirth. You're starting from over. You're starting from scratch. But when you look up at the sky, you're just looking for one glimmer, a little piece of hope that say, listen, I know what I just went through was real, but better times are ahead. So stars have the ability to go through death again and again and again. They can go through tower after tower and still remain optimistic because they are out of this world, quite literally. There is no illness that a star will face where they forget that healing comes next, right? And so stars are carrying with them plans of promise. You are carrying with you success that is attainable. And so imagine that on Earth, the fools and the morons, they want to hack the stars. They want to disrupt the stars. The same way that your ancestors were able to complete their own universe by recognizing that they were prime creator, by moving in their own essence and creativity. That is what they don't want the stars to do, because when the stars do that, well, now the other souls on Earth have something to look at too. If stars are allowed to shine on this Earth, the matrix is gone. The matrix is no more. The matrix loses its value, its hold, because all of us will listen. The only reason why the matrix is running is because we're running it. When we put it down, it's down, right? And so the idea is that collectively, piece by piece, we're putting down, little segments of the matrix. And when you put down segments of the matrix, you're picking up pieces of your own essence and creativity. This is your spiritual inheritance. Now, when I talked about layaway, I said that it became popular during the Great Depression. I want you to think about the moments in your life where you would be like, yo, that was a Great Depression. It is in your Great Depression that you are able to tap in and to pull. You're able to make purchases. You're able to go and say, ancestors, yo, the life I lived is gone. It's destroyed. I don't know who I thought I was or what I thought I was doing, but it's no more. It is in the darkness that you recognize that you are that light. You are that glimmer. You are that hope, right? When you know that, this is when you start to pull down your things. Now, your ancestors have said, hey, baby, you're a cook. You're a good cook, but you're also personable and funny and super beautiful, and so we think a YouTube channel where you get to cook and just be yourself is the way to go, and so you go to the store, you get all of your ingredients, you're walking home with what you need to make your first meal, taco soup. But you get robbed on the way home. Somebody steals your cell phone. Now, they don't take your meal. They don't take your meal, but they take a piece of you. They take something that would have been valuable to them. Now, here's the thing about getting robbed. You got to think about, what did they take? Can it be replaced? And then you kind of got to assess your feelings. So here's the thing. Every star that is seated on this earth will get robbed again and again and again. You'll get robbed. But the greatest robbery is coming when you've decided that you are going to move in your essence. The greatest robbery comes when you have found your own creativity. So listen, you burnt off all that karma, you've reached a state of maturity, you understand your own creativity, and now you're about to tap into what your ancestors have been leading you towards, right? But you got all the ingredients and somebody robs you on your way home. Now, this is where you have a choice. This is what separates the stars from the humans. It is this moment. When a star gets robbed, how do they respond to their robbery? I have a proverb. It says, "It is not taboo to go back, look to the past for the lessons to guide your future. Mistakes are never too big to be undone." So the thing about a star is that there is no moment in their life that they cannot be resurrected from. The star comes after the tower. A star needs darkness to know it's a star. And so any darkness that you've experienced, any darkness that you have sat in, it is that moment that identifies that you are the star. Everything is dark because you're the light. And so when you're starting to move into your inheritance and your essence, and you get robbed energetically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, you have a choice. You have a choice. Is it taboo to go back? Is it taboo to look to the past? Is it taboo to look at what I was, And so when I was in my isolation, I went back to the things I loved. And every day I woke up, I had something to love, I had something to look for, something to do, something to hope for every single day. Y'all, they robbed me. They robbed me. And the past 2.5 years prior to Tennille Talks, I was attempting to find my essence again. I was attempting to move in my own creativity. But y'all, they can't stop a star. Stars will be resurrected every time. Stars rise from the dead, right? Stars always have the ability to reclaim their individuality. Even if your body changes, you're going to rise again. The rebirth of your spirit is impossible to stop, stunt, or stagnate. A star will always be brought back into use or existence, no matter the death, no matter the darkness, no matter the tower. The star must remember that it is not taboo to go back. So you're walking home with all these groceries, somebody steals something from you, you've gone through this robbery, you call the cops, but guess what? What about all the ingredients to that meal that you were going to cook that are on the ground? Do you pick it up? Or do you just decide that you can't cook the meal anymore because of what you experienced? The idea is for you to go through a darkness that is so devastating that you decide, I can't even pick up the ingredients off the ground. I'm not going to cook again. I give up. I give up. That is the devastation that they want you to feel, right? And so the difference between the star and the human is the star will get robbed. The star will file the police report. The star will cry. The star will sob. The star will go through all of the things. The star will feel all of the feels. But then the star gets down on their hands and knees and they pick up the garlic. They pick up the pepper they dropped. They pick up the hamburger. They pick up all the beans. They pick up those tomatoes. They pick up the green chilies. They pick up the cumin, right? The star does not go back home. The star does not return home until they pick up those ingredients that they lost or dropped during that robbery. That is the difference between the star and a human. So although robbed in that situation while in the process of creating and finding your own essence, you are the star. You are the essence. There's nothing that can be taken away from you that truly takes anything away from you. Do you understand? There is nothing that can be taken away from you that truly takes something away from you. You are the star. You are prime creator in action. But when your identity is tested, your identity is typically going to be tested after you have found its trueness, its authenticity. When you are trying to find the effectiveness of your own energy signature, this is when the robbery happens. But the robbery is going to be so great that you forget to look up and find the glimmer. You forget to look down and remember that you are the glimmer. One of you, I'm speaking to the freedom seekers. There was a freedom seeker who went through a robbery. But the robbery they went through, it wasn't big enough to stop them from resurrecting. And so this is a freedom seeker that went back. They did go back to the past. They did look for the lessons. They looked for the meat. They looked for the meat to take them to the next step, to their future. So if you are a star, if you are a freedom seeker at some point and you feel like I have made a mistake that is so big, I can't do it. I have done something in my life that is so great that I can't come back from it. The idea is that you are literally here to create. Your essence can't be lost. It can't be stolen. It can only be found by you. And in the process of you finding it, you will be fucked with, you will be toyed with, you will be attacked and tested, but you are out of this world quite literally. And so this reading is for a star or stars who decided to return to something they loved, something they hoped for, and something they wanted to do. And when they returned, they resurrected something. A resurrection is a form of a salvation. Listen, the Most High doesn't want you to forget the beauty and the essence of who you are. Now, some of the situations we go from, they will rob you of your understanding of self. Listen, when people steal from you, they cannot take your understanding of self. Right? You have to know who you are. And so sometimes the experiences we go through, they want to project something into our life that is so big and bold, but it's also far into your truth and your authenticity. And so your identity and self has to be bigger than the attack. It has to be bigger than the projection. It has to be bigger than the darkness and the experience. And as a star, you are always bigger than the darkness. You're always going to be brighter than the darkness, right? And so to be saved by the Most High, this is when you resurrected something. You went back and pulled something literally that was dead. You picked up everything that fell on the ground that was a part of a dream that you were building. In the process of building that dream, you were robbed. Somebody attacked you. That doesn't mean that the dream is gone. It means the energy that you were carrying in the moment of creating the dream, that energy, that energetic moment was distorted, attacked, tested, and robbed. Does that mean you can't create another energetic moment like that? No, but you got to get down and pick up all the ingredients to create that moment. You got to go back. You got to go back, right? And so Tennille Talk seems to be the vehicle that will take me to one direction, but listen, when they tried to take my breath, when they tried to take my life, it didn't work. And the only way that I could prove to myself that I was worth a damn is if I did something I loved, is if I hoped for something. But you got to do it every day. You got to do it every day. I am going to attach links to the other channels that I created over the past 2.5 years to just show you what I was doing in my darkest of hours. That is all I knew to do, y'all. I didn't know anything else. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a vision. I just knew every day I'm getting up, y'all. And every single day the attacks were great. Every single day, y'all. But you gotta just keep going. You just gotta do it. Now, whatever my outlet or essence or creativity was, yours is going to be different. But even if you know you're going to write a book and you wake up every day and all you got to do is write one line, just write one sentence. If you don't have the sentences, well, then just write words. Write words until the words become a sentence. Write sentences until the sentences become paragraphs and the paragraphs become chapters. But you got to do it every day. You got to do just a little piece every day. You got to pick up the ingredients. You have to, in order to resurrect your essence. They cannot take your essence, but they can take that energetic moment that you were going to use to pour into your essence. But energy is everything. You just consciously got to know that I am the star. I am the essence of the Most High. Yes? And so in this reading, I see somebody that was in the process of carrying all of their ingredients. The ingredients that they were carrying were the ingredients that their ancestor had been pouring into them. They're out of this world ancestors, right? So imagine somebody who's like, great, I'm a cook, I got everything I need. And then I have somebody here who is in a King of Cups. Now, this is really where the reading takes off, y'all. So this reading has two people that are showing up. We have a nurturer and we have a King of Cups. Now, to be the nurturer, this is the energy of a 6. When we're talking, so numbers are really important in this reading, right? So I'm talking to the 5s, the freedom seekers. Your life path could quite literally be 5. You could have a lot of 5s in your numerology chart. Here's the thing. The energy of 5 is going to be the letters E, N, and W. Write your first name, write your middle name, write your last name. Your first name talks about how you present yourself to the world, how people see you in work, how you show up. Your middle name talks about your emotional self, your internal self. This is typically how you show up in loving relationships. Now, your last name reveals to you the family that you were born into, everything that you energetically inherited, right? First, middle, last. I want you to write down your name, and if you can find the E's, the N's, or the W's, those values are 5. How many 5s do you have? If you have a lot of 5s in your first name, that's a lot of change and freedom seeking in your outer life. If a lot of 5s are in your middle name, that's a lot of freedom seeking and adaptability that goes on in your emotional life. The same thing, you will have to free yourself looking at your last name based on, and so this is how numerology works. And so I want you to look, if you have E's, N's, and W's, those are the letters that equal 5. I want you to consider something else. If you have no 5s, let's say your first name doesn't have a 5, your middle name doesn't have a 5, your last name doesn't have a 5. If you don't have a 5 in your first, middle, or last name, that is an indication that you came here to pick up the 5. You didn't come in with the 5, so you came here to get it. Yes? So either you have a lot of energy of being this freedom seeker where you're going to have to learn not to squander your star energy, or you came here but you didn't have a lot of that wandering spirit. You didn't have a lot of that. You're not comfortable with change, but you're still a star seed. And so some people will have to go through a lot of 5 experiences in order to pick up the benefits of that freedom seeker experience. You got me? I hope I didn't go off, but I that's kind of a teaching moment in the event that you want to see how the energies reveal themselves in your name. Listen, numerology, your name and your birth date are going to tell you a lot about who you are. When I first was doing readings on the channel for free, I would just include numerology reports. And there are all kind of reports that you can do. You can do them for your relationship. You can do them for a spirit animal. You can do them to see if this is the business name I should use. If this is, what is the energy of my address? What is it? Everything is a vibration. Everything is a vibration. Every number has a personality. And so the numbers that make up your name, those are personalities that you are carrying. So there are some personalities that you don't have a lot of, or some personalities that you have a lot of. And in both situations, it requires you to adapt, to change, and to be conscious of that. So I went off on there. So 5 is a very important number, but the reading really talks about a nurturer, somebody who carries the energy of 6. The reason why we go through all of that freedom is that so we can get to a place of balance. That is the point of it, right? So we've got somebody, a star seed, who is a nurturer. They're unconditionally loving. This person could be a parent, father, mother, but typically you trust them. They offer care, right? They are a giver. They are a giver. Now, there was a nurturer in this reading, and it says, if you run from trials and testing, you will seriously hinder your growth and maturity process, okay? Star seeds, you are going to be tried and tested. If you run from the trial and if you run from the test, you hinder your growth. You dim your own star. You stop and stagnate and pause your own development. You don't have the ability to mature. 35 to 45 is when the maturity of the crown chakra really starts to take shape and you tap into your cosmic identity and your connection to source. But if you have run from every trial and test before the age of 35 and 45, then are you really able to grow? Are you really ready to mature? If you were running, then you were hindering it. So here's the thing. When the robbery comes, when the setback comes, when the mistakes come, those are opportunities to be tried and to be tested. It is in that trial and in that test. If you stand and if you face it and if you deal with it, the effect is growth. The effect is maturity. That means that you're going to be able to withdraw from your ancestral inheritance because you're mature enough to do so. Because you grew through your karma, because you have shown the Most High, because you have shown your ancestors that I can really do this thing. I know that, there's nothing too big that can cause me to turn and to run and to be afraid of me, my own existence, my own ability, right? Now, the contents of your body, the contents of your vessel, we are not all the same. And so there is a freedom seeker that carries unconditional love. There's a freedom seeker that is a nurturer, that is a lover. Okay? Now, the star seeds that I'm talking to in this moment, you may have had a lot of trials and tests in love. Your ability to love again after being tested, after being tried. It is impossible to create. It is impossible to find your essence if you are not in love with what you're doing. Remember? You have to have something to love, something to hope for, and something to do every day in order to have happiness. That's what happiness was. I think that's how happiness requires, that's what it was. Happiness requires something to do, something to love, and something to hope for. Well, as a nurturer, this comes easy to you because you are full of love, right? Love is a superpower. And if you are from out of this world, I know that you are carrying this superpower with you. Unconditional love is not found easily on earth because many people don't know that they have the ability to apply it, to implement it, to practice it, right? And so there is a nurturer who's a freedom seeker that had to resurrect something. But the only way they could resurrect something was by still being able to love. So you're on this journey. You know you're supposed to cook. Right before you cook your meal, you get robbed. Is there enough love in you? Is there enough love in you that'll allow you to have the courage and the confidence to pick up everything that was just spilt out on the ground so that you can go home and cook that meal? That is what the nurturers are tested. So if you have the ability to love unconditionally, if you have died again and again and again and been brought back into existence again and again and again because of the rebirth of your spirit, it is because of the power of your heart. That is love. That is love. That means because you keep finding something to love. You keep finding something to do. You keep finding something to live for. That is you tapping into your ancestral inheritance. That's why you can't be taken out of here. That's why you're going to rise again. That is why you have the ability to retain your identity and your individuality. Because the love that you carry, that tool, that superpower, it is unconditional. And so it is the love that you carry that allows you to show up to every trial and every test. Y'all, some people just don't quit. Some people can't be stopped. Some people couldn't even stop themselves if they wanted to. Some people can't stop themselves. You are a star. Do you know, literally. Tell yourself the truth. How many times did you want to quit, but you just couldn't? something inside of you, it just won't. Listen, you can't take that for granted. You can't take that. That is gold. And so the idea here is that when the freedom seekers, when the stars are sent to Earth, the stars are those that came from ancestors that completed themselves. That means the matrix, listen, you are a hack to the matrix. You will always see through the matrix. You'll always break out of it. The matrix will never really be able to control you. Maybe it can keep you contained for a temporary period of time, but at some point in your life, you are breaking out. When you break out of your matrix, you pull down your ancestral inheritance, right? So you get robbed. The idea is that the robbery was so great that you don't even want to look to your past. You don't even want to go back to anything you experienced. But they robbed you when you were holding your gems. They robbed you when you were holding the pieces of your financial success. You were holding the pieces of your material security. Everything that you were holding, it was because you had attained it through your own efforts. Listen, for you to get the idea to go buy the pepper and all the ingredients to make that taco soup, that is outer worldly, considering the things that you've been through. So to go through certain things and to still be able to resurrect your mind, to be able to hold your star power is insane, right? And so again and again, you're trying to cook a meal, you're trying to prepare a meal, but you get robbed. And the reason why you're getting robbed is because when you make that meal, when you post that video of you creating that meal, that is going to be the congratulations. That is when the comforts in life finally come, right? And so it makes sense to rob you so that you have no desire to resurrect, so that you truly do believe it's taboo. I can't go back there. If I go back there, I'm going to get hurt. It's a source of pain. But when you resurrect mistakes, when you resurrect things that you thought that were taboo, when you resurrect your lessons, you are really picking up your promotions. You are picking up your gifts, your advancement. You're just going back to get all the shit that you dropped because of something that was done, right? Imagine love. Think about love in relationships and healing. Sometimes we leave our love with people who never returned it. And so in order to love again, sometimes you got to go back and get it. Going back to get it is essentially forgiving people for not being able to return to you what you so freely gave to them. But guess what? I can't leave all my memories and all my energy with you. I got to resurrect something from the past. I got to resurrect my gifts and my dreams and my creativity. And so if all of my thoughts and all of my energy is tied up in all of the people, places, and things that just could not return my star power to me, like you can't leave it with those people. You can't leave it in those years. You can't leave it in those decades. All of the star power that you dropped while attempting to find your essence must be resurrected. The offense in you is supposed to be so great that you never have the desire to go back and look and to resurrect the things that could have brought you financial success and material security. Starseed, you're going to be great. You're going to be wealthy, and it's going to be because you attained it through your own efforts. But if you don't put in the effort, well, then you can't get the gift. And to be wounded again and again and again, it is an attack against your effort. They can't fuck with the gift. They can't take your inheritance. They can't take your advancement. They can't take your promotion, but they can fuck with the energetic moment that you were in when you were attempting to tap into the gift, create the gift, advance. Yes, they just mess with the energetic moments so that you run, so that you don't try, so that you're afraid to be tested. Because if you run from a test, you hinder your growth. If you run from a test, you don't mature. So when everybody else is turning 40 and walking into their birthright, well, guess what? You're 42, but you ran for 25 years. And so, yeah, you may be 40 in your body, but you're actually 15 in your spirit because you've been running for so long. Everybody that's walking around in an adult body is not an adult. The amount of times that you have run from your trials and your tests determines where you really are. That is what reflects your growth and maturity. There are going to be the people that rob you. Let's just say it. The people that rob you are going to be people who ran from their own trials, who ran from their own tests, who are hindered, immature. They didn't grow. Those are the people that want to rob you. Now, I want to be careful about this reading because I kind of saw it in two different ways. There was an actual situation where somebody carrying the energy of the King of Cups. Now, the King of Cups, this is how the person could be packaged in the world. This could be somebody that's in a helping profession. These are people who are drawn to social work, right? They care, they have a concern for others, right? And so they are really committed to a cause. Man or woman, these are the type of people that are really driven by their cause. They live for their cause, right? Now, these are also people that have a feminine quality about them, a feminine aspect. When you think about the King of Cups, this is somebody that has the ability to decorate or design. They may like fashion, they may like clothes, but it's the interior, it's the beauty of life that the King of Cups can really value and pick up. Now, when the King of Cups is upright, this is somebody that is emotionally available, emotionally intelligent. When the King of Cups is not in the upright, this is somebody that can withdraw, be passive aggressive. They can be childish. They can manipulate you by withholding certain information. So this is somebody that can use their emotions for good or emotions for bad. But in this reading, if we are talking about somebody being sent to a star that is a nurturer, that has the ability to love unconditionally, then the person that comes to you is almost going to counter. They're going to carry an energy that wants to duel or battle the energy you carry. So the robbery that happens to you, it needs to be a robbery that is almost identical to the frequency, meaning whatever that energetic moment was that you were using to build and find your essence in your own creativity, the robbery that comes, it is going to want to attack that energetic moment because it was that moment that would have springboarded you, right? And so there could be someone that have come in that could have emotionally really aligned and anchored and tapped into you. But then this person did something that was so hurtful. And the reason why it happened, it was to get you to drop your ingredients. It was to get you to drop whatever it is that you picked up. And so star seeds, those tower moments that you feel, that you go through in life, those dark years, those dark months, those dark weeks, that is to get you to drop whatever it is that you picked up. That's how you know you're close to finding your essence. That's how you know you're really getting close to your creativity. When somebody wants you to just put the shit down. But the thing is about a star is even if you put it down for a week, a month, or a year, you're going to pick it up again. You are going to pick it up again. Y'all, this is a reading about somebody who was sent to rob you, but the person that sent them could have been a parent, a patron, a supporter, somebody that you cared about, that at one point cared of you, but something about this person is carrying an offense. This person is mad, they're angry, and they're furious. And so I feel like you've discovered you're a star. You've gone through towers. You're picking up the pieces of your inheritance, tapping into your own creativity and your essence. But the people around you may recognize that they don't have the same fate, the same promise, the same destination. And so don't be surprised if those people that you cared and trusted either become your robber or work behind the scenes to send robbers to you to steal your energetic moments. And so sometimes people will rob you and really believe that they stopped you, that they got you to not pick up what you were attempting to create. When the robbery happens, this is what separates the star from the human. When the robbery happens, the first thing you got to do is recognize that you're hurt. Recognize how it feels to be taken from, to be stolen from. Whenever you are in the process of working out your own essence and creativity, the robbery that happens is supposed to put you in a stalemate situation. It is supposed to put you in a state of confusion. It's like, oh my God, I got all these ingredients, but then it's like, you forget what meal you were going to make. Can you imagine your ancestors giving you all these downloads, telling you what to cook, what to put in first, second, third? You go buy everything. You go through a situation that robs you energetically. You drop all your ingredients and it's like, wait, what was I supposed to cook again? What was I, right? And that is the idea. One, that you forget, but also you forget the energy that you were carrying in the moment that you were wanting to create the meal. And so in order to go back and resurrect, you're really resurrecting an energy. Your creativity didn't go anywhere. Your ability went nowhere. It was the energetic moment. It was the excitement. It was the inspiration. It was the passion that they took. But they really only stole a moment. They didn't steal anything else from you. They only stole a moment. But they wanted that moment to be so grave and so deep and so hurtful that you wouldn't be able to initiate a new emotional process, that you wouldn't be able to get your heart going. Do you understand? That is the point. You cannot create or find your essence without heart, without love. You need it. That is your most powerful tool. And so when you are attacked and robbed, they are attacking the energetic moments of your heart. Anytime your heart can kick out a pulse and get you to be inspired and in love and create something, that's a big deal. Especially if you are a freedom seeker from another realm, from another star system. There is something inside of you that kicks and generates. And what you do with that is magical. What you do with that creates material security and financial success. And so every time you go back, that's the layaway. Every time you go back to pay something, every time you go back to just pick up a little piece of it every day, just make that payment. Listen, y'all, it really is like that. Imagine you bought all this stuff, you put it on layaway, and your ancestors are like, okay, in 6 months, you'll be ready to, in 6 months, you're going to be ready to rise. In 6 months, you're going to go live and you'll be viral, right? And so you got everything you need and you put it on layaway, but then you get robbed. And now it's like, well, I can't go back and make the payments, right? The idea is for you to believe that you cannot go back and afford to make the payments to get your ancestral inheritance because of what just happened to you. That is the point of robbing the starseed. It is to take an energetic moment. That is it, y'all. They can't take shit from you. But they will steal a perspective. They will alter, and they will fuck with a moment in time that wounds you so bad that you don't even want to open up your heart again. You don't even want to go. You refuse to initiate another emotional process. You're like, forget this. No, I ain't doing this again, right? Because now you've attached your love to pain, right? Because when you were really doing the thing you love, somebody did something that was so painful. And now when you look at the things you love, all you can see, feel, and sense is pain. That is the point. They want you to live there, to move in there, to become a resident there. They want you to pay taxes in that mindset. They want you to become, don't do it. Move out. Evict yourself out of that belief system. Move out. And so there could have been somebody that came into you that wanted to match you initially, because a lot of the people that rob you of an energetic moment are going to be carrying a counterfeit version of your moment. So when they come in to create the moment with you, it will feel like the contents of them are matching your contents. But after the robbery takes place, you're so disgusted and disturbed and hurt, right? But the thing about it is pride. Pride wants to keep you from admitting that you are hurt. As long as you stop from admitting that you are hurt, You will not be able to initiate a new emotional process. And so a lot of people with closed heart chakras forgot to tell themselves that they were hurt. They didn't recognize that they were hurt. First identify, this shit hurts. Because when you recognize that you are hurting, well then, it's like going to the doctor, being in pain, but like the doctor not telling you that your leg is broken. But if you don't know that your leg is broken, well then you don't know that you need a cast. You don't understand the healing regimen. And so identifying the pain, it also locates the point of attack. It locates the part of you that they touch, the part of you that they hurt the most. But pride doesn't listen, when your pride doesn't allow you to admit that you are hurt, when you cannot recognize that you've been hurt, it will cause you to run from trial after trial, test after test. This is where you hinder your growth and your maturity process, And so not understanding that we have been hurt by something, being so prideful, not being able to admit how this really has made us feel, that is what stops you from going back to look at it again. It's like, I can't, but you don't know that the reason why you can't is because you're hurt. Pride, and I hope this is making sense, but y'all, so the people around you, maybe not, had a hand in orchestrating you dropping your ingredients, you getting robbed. The point of what they did was supposed to be, and it's always going to be the people closest to you. Always. Why is it always the people closest to you? Because they're closer to your heart. And so when they hurt your heart, the hurt is going to be deeper. And so those are the people that are going to be used. And everybody that you're in a family with ain't from a star. They're not a star seed. They didn't have ancestors that came from a universe that completed itself by discovering that they were the prime creator. Not everybody is carrying the ancestors that found their own essence in creativity. And so if you are one of those bounce back type spirits, if you are a person that has gone through tower after tower after tower, and every time you could find that light, every time you went back and make payments because you knew, I'm about to buy some good shit. You robbed me as many times. I'm going back to make my payments, right? The idea is that you don't go back to pick it up. You don't return. You forget about it. You just forget about it. But this is a reading about a star who didn't forget. And if you are a star, you'll never forget. There's no darkness that can block out the light. If you are truly a star seed, that is going to piss the people off around you. Not because they too don't have the ability to tap into their greatness, but because they ran from their test and they ran from your trial. The same cowards that run from their tests and trials are the same people that are going to test and try you, hoping to hinder you, hoping to stop you from growing and maturing. But when you get up and resurrect some shit, when you bring it back to existence, when you go through your rebirth, when you go through the phoenix rising, this is when the freedom seeker is reborn. And so sometimes you got to go back to people you love. You got to go back to places you love. You got to return to moments in time to take all of the things that you left with those people that really could never return it to you. They can never give it back to you. A lot of understanding your identity, it's because you went back to energetic moments and you took yourself back. And when I talk about going backwards, it's really a look. You don't actually have to go talk to the people, text to the people. You don't have to go back to the same job. You don't got to go move back to the same house. You don't got to go live in the same marriage. To go back, it means literally to just look to the past inside of yourself and say, what was I supposed to learn from that? That shit hurt. But what was it supposed to teach me? And everything that you were supposed to learn, everything that it was supposed to teach you, that is what was supposed to take you to the next step. It was just supposed to guide you. There is no mistake that is too big to be undone. Some robberies are supposed to make you think that this can't be undone. This is too great. Can't come back from this. It's over. I got to give it up, right? Some robberies are supposed to keep you in a stalemate, confusion for years. Can you imagine being in a stalemate situation, needing to make a decision about how to move forward, but you can't because you've been in a mental prison for years? Not really being able to admit yourself that this person that was supposed to care for me, this parent, this spouse, this supporter, this patron, this person hurt me so deeply that they caused me to be stuck that I couldn't even make a decision about my future. I couldn't even make a decision about how to go left or right. And the reason why you can't make that decision and you're stuck is because your heart's not in it. It's because we haven't really been able to initiate the emotional process because we forgot to tell ourselves we were hurt. And when pride doesn't allow us to admit this, it is impossible to go back and to pick up all that love that we left with the wrong people in the wrong places. But the beauty is that there's no wrong person. There's no wrong anything. Everything was what it needed to be for us to get the lesson. But if you don't go back and pick up the lesson, well, then all of that beautiful energy is squandered. They are really trying to steal your moments. And when they come in to steal your moments, it is because you will not know who you are until you know who you are not. People that do fucked up shit to you are revealing to you who you are not. That is not a reflection of you. That is their reflection being projected onto you. Now, if you believe it, then you're going to carry that projection and you're going to think, I deserve this. Everywhere I go, this happens to me. This is my life. This is what... Fuck no, you're the star. They're not. They can only give you shit because they're shit. They couldn't give you star power because they didn't have star power. But how long do you stay with, alongside, and in front of somebody that just don't have your star power? Somebody that has offended you, robbed you. How long do you stay with a person like that? If it's not a person, how long do you stay in a situation? How long do you stay connected to family like that? That are so offended by what you possess that they're willing to steal or create scenarios that get you to drop it, that get you to put it down and to never pick it up again. Hurt people want to hurt people, y'all. Hurt people want to hurt people. And when you recognize your hurt and you push through that hurt and you go back and you start picking up shit that you put down because you were too hurt to carry it. And listen, when you're too hurt to carry something, put it down at your feet. Deal with your hurt. And when you're strong enough to carry it, you pick it up again. That's what starseeds do. They just stay there until they can pick it up again because it's all temporary. It's all temporary. And so there was an attempt made to take something of value from you. Maybe it was your time. Maybe it was your emotion, your energy. There was something that somebody wanted custody of. Somebody wanted control of something. And the person that came to you was a person that they themselves had ran from trial after trial after trial. This is somebody that had been seriously hindered. Okay? So y'all, whatever you dropped, whatever you put down, it is connected to the inheritance. It is connected to your essence and your creativity. If you know that you are supposed to be creating, discovering, exploring, wandering, adapting, playing, if you know that is what you were supposed to do, that is what will give you your freedom. Right? And so if we're not seeking our freedom, well, then we're becoming agitated and we're feeling like a victim. But you can't make a star a victim. A star will never be a victim on earth or to earth. Never. Never. And so this is recognizing that you are free. You are free to go back. You are free to return. There is no mistake that is too big to be undone. There is no trial. There is no test that will not give you the growth and the maturity you need to become the greatest version that you came here to become. I love y'all so much, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.